Diego Miller.
Deborah Phelps.
All right, and I'm Jeff Atchison. So a little bit of background. It sounded like from Jana this was a system that had been developed probably the last year and a half, this tiered accountability, and I'll give my take of their explanation of what it is, but it was really a communication system that led from the floor up to upper management. Really neat system they had established. Tier 1 starting at the floor technician level, an ability for them to get together with their team leaders and share their I guess issues and things there. From there they had the tier 2 meetings with the, sounds like manufacturing engineers, the quality section leaders, and then also the kind of supervisors for those specific process areas, where again anything that needed to bubble up from tier 1 was addressed and brought up at the tier 2 discussion level. They had a tier 3 level for those groups that seemed like they couldn't. Jana mentioned like her group, she has several quality people that are each area, so she can't go to every one. So there's a tier 3 level, kind of intermediate level, that allows her to get an update from her quality folks, or maybe even continuous improvement guys and stuff like that. And then tier 4 was where the plant staff really came together, really kind of updating Al, and everything again would bubble up, so that really some issues and things that were being brought up there. So that was kind of the structure of the system. If there's anything I'm missing, please add. So, but I think everybody in our group was really impressed with this system, and so we have a lot of strengths here, and then I'll hit on those first. And there were a few things that were brought up in the discussions that may be an area to look at for opportunities for improvement. The first one that we brought up was really a total commitment at all levels. Jana brought up that this was something that Al really saw as being a big benefit and drove, and so having that commitment, you could tell it was out there from upper management. They allow the time for their technicians and everybody in these groups to come and have these meetings. Think about our plant to pull technicians off the lines and stuff. It's not always the commitment there to do that. So, but these meetings are bringing in all those people and allowing them to communicate, be a part of this communication system that they're involved with. So that was certainly great. Other big thing that was the time. They start these meetings at 8 o'clock, and I think by 9:30 they're done. They're through their tiers, and everything's been bubbled up that needs to be bubbled up. And so that was pretty impressive, we thought, to have that type of communication system done in hour and a half, 2 hours. Really the rest of the day left for improvements and making things that need to be addressed. So that was a really strong strength of the system. Pretty much everything's digital, which is really nice. Think about most manufacturing plants, and you're talking about boards, and somebody got to put a chart, put a little dot on a little line graph on yields, but everything's digital. They got, with their tier 2 boards, they got, kind of LCD screens that they can communicate. The other thing that a lot of people commented on was there was a standard template that they used, which seemed to help with consistency throughout the plant, which was really neat. And then as they get into the tier 3 and tier 4, they had a smart board. So I don't know if y'all seen that, but it's really neat. I thought it was pretty cool. So ability to be interactive. They can actually make updates as they're having discussions with upper management in the plant, and kind of get that addressed and updated interactively while they're working on it. And then we also made a comment on the excellent customer, I forgot the last word. The experience, the ECE system was we thought was great too, and the fact that bubbles up to upper management is we saw as really being a big strength. Getting people recognized on the floor level at upper management was a big thing in this kind of tiered communication system. So a lot more along those lines, but those were kind of our big hitters on the strengths. A few things that we just kind of pointed out as maybe opportunities was, some topic came up around communication back to tier 1. When issues bubbled up, how do you get that back? Hey, we're working on these, or hey, these have been addressed. And so, we talked a little bit about that in some areas that maybe could be, whether it's a system or something to get that communication back to the technician level. Another comment that was made was, trying to focus on some of the positive info first. I think a lot of us in manufacturing have a tendency to see negative, and so the fact that they had the ECEs up there was great, and so maybe to focus on those, first in meetings and stuff was brought up as maybe an option to kind of focus on the positive before getting into the improvement areas. It was one thing that was brought up was data protection. Obviously, this is being a newer system. I think Diego brought this up. Was hey, can somebody go in there and just change stuff? And Yeah, you know, or hey, what does my actually deletes the improvement and it's gone. So it was a good point. I think all of us probably have been there, right? Or you get locked out of an Excel sheet somebody else is in, and so yeah, I think that was a point that brought up that probably a lot of us could take some value from. And then finally got a little comment here. We got a little bit involved in the quality and the 5S audit side, and so it was brought up of, you know, who does audits, and it was brought up as a suggestion that maybe the people that are truly involved with maintaining the 5S system, or the 5S plus one, are actually the ones that are involved with the audits too. Not only doing the audits, but getting the recognition for maintaining their areas. So I think the current audits were maybe at a manager level. So that was some feedback from the group. But I think overall, feel free to chime in, but it's a really impressive, in my point of view, really impressive system on getting communications, you know, up the chain, and then where things flushed out and priorities to work on. So.
Yeah, do it within hours. It's amazing. And I like the way it's very visual, and it's also brought respects and collective voice and collective success out within your small board. I think that's really good.
For those of us that weren't in that specific one, can you talk about how challenging was it to actually implement it, to get it from here to there? Was there, I mean,
Well, Al really had to make it happen. He really pushed he really started the tier 2s. And so he was there every day and making it happen. And then once it got ingrained as part of what we do, then he could step away from it. But it really had to come from upper management.